Welcome to the Average Joe Bro Pod. I had to look at the bottom left banner before I said that. I'm Simone.
I'm Average Eddie.
It's an average characteristic to have to remind myself what the name of this pod is. Don't you think?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm a little tired after the weather delay last night. I normally would just give up on it and go to sleep. And by the end, I basically was asleep. But I'm on the East Coast. But no, it's the Cowboys, so I had to stick it through. And I definitely livened up on that last drive. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, going to sleep at 1 sucks, especially right before the week starts.
Did you know that Bill Simmons did their pod all the way through 2:30? They always do it at Sunday night.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
I was wondering about that because I used to listen every week, but not as much anymore. But yeah, I know it's every Sunday night right after the game ends. So when I went to bed, I was like, I wonder if Bill's going live right now with Cousin Sal. That's impressive. Good on them. They're much older than we are, I'm pretty sure. And they probably have way more energy than I do. Yeah.
It was the longest day in NFL history.
Oh, that's right, because of London. Ugh. Oh, God.
I read somewhere if you managed, and this is an opinion, if you managed to watch all football yesterday, then you are a true diehard NFL watcher and NFL fan. I think that's me, man.
Yeah? You're a true diehard?
Yeah, I slept in a little bit, but I did wake up to catch the second half of the Vikings and Jets. And boy, was that game frustrating. Overall, dude.
Not a great product on so many levels.
I'm going to make one particular sound, and this really sums it up. God. That's it. That's how I feel. It was rough.
One of those.
I bet.
Like that? Is that right?
I shared with you my bet card before, and then yeah, I went 1-4, and I'm lucky to get that one win. It was the Texans. I bet on them to cover, but holy shit, it was rough. So many frustrating games that I'm looking forward to talking about because it's fun arguing / bringing up, being that couch coach. How are NFL teams this dumb? It's just, God, I can't. Everyone in America is probably saying that right now. Everyone's saying, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. Why are they idiots? And you just have to think that there's something we don't know.
I really hope
they
so.
Do. Right?
Like, they just score a touchdown on every play. Yeah, I mean, I get tired of, like everyone does, I'm sure, of whether it's on Reddit or just like shooting the shit with, high school buddies or something, thinking that they know better than like, I don't know, Andy Reid or something. But then you watch the game sometimes, and it's like, what are we doing? I guess Andy Reid's the wrong example, but in this game, his counterpart, what is Dennis Allen doing? It's the most predictable shit I've ever seen. Luckily, I'm not a Saints fan like you, but I'm actually kind of getting frustrated watching it.
I can't believe I bet on the Saints. What a mistake. Oh, he missed that field goal.
It's still in range, right? You said 4.5?
Missing 51-yard field goals is back, baby. We're back.
Let's go. Back on the menu.
We had a lot of misses this weekend, which was uncharacteristic for the first 4 weeks of the season. Lots of makes. But, man, we had a lot of missed field goals. Of course, my only win with the Texans was a 59-yard field goal by Fairburn.
Oh, yeah, Fairburn. He's really good.
Yeah. I feel compelled to say this before we dive into the games.
Yeah.
Are you keeping track of the hurricane stuff? Hurricane things?
Not as much as I should be. I saw that you had listed the incoming one, which is already. That was more than I was prepared for. I hadn't heard of it before that. Obviously, the hurricane. Is it Helene? I don't know. It's pretty devastating, though. I've seen some of the photos. It's not great.
Yeah, that's the extent I have seen stuff, just photos and.
Yeah.
Not good. It's kind of weird whenever you hear about like the Bucks. They're evacuating Tampa right now, right? They're going to New Orleans ahead of their game in New Orleans, and they're doing it because of Hurricane Milton. But it's still kind of weird hearing about that. They're doing what they have to do, but it's weird to me because they're just leaving probably a city that's going to get devastated from a catastrophe, and their families probably live there. And I would imagine the Bucks are like, shit, I don't want to leave, or I want my family. Maybe their family's going with them. Maybe that's what we should assume, right?
Is Milton supposed to be as bad? I really hope not. I hadn't heard of it before tonight.
Have you heard of if Whataburger closes, then it's a serious storm?
I have heard that. That's a good proxy, yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to check to see if Milton is serious. You know who's not serious, though? The Saints. We're watching that game right now.
You have it on, man. Yeah. It's literally run the ball on first and second down and then pass on third down. And it's always down the middle.
I can't. I bet on 4.5. They were dogs of 4.5, and they're just fucking run the ball. They're predictable, right? They're just running the ball on first down, and then they're resorting to last year's offense where they just predictably run first, dump off second pass to Kamara, and then deep bomb to either Shaheed, and it worked once, which is like kind of bad on the.
That's showing points. Here comes the sack. Oh no, they got a first down. Beautiful.
Dude, I love Kamara so much.
Oh yeah, you're behind me. It's good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That's okay. Anyways.
I'll not spoil it.
Let's get into it. I touched on the Bucks, but they're evacuating. They had plenty of time to do this. I guess they determined it was a pretty serious storm that they're leaving, but they played on Thursday night against the Falcons, and it was all over social media. Oh my God. Kirko Chains, he went off 500 yards on Matt Ryan.
You like that? It's good to see that. Yeah. That's the Kirk that I wanted.
Do you get the feeling that everybody's like kind of rooting for Kirk?
Yeah, I do.
Have a whole lot of haters.
I'm certainly not one, and I don't think I know of one. He seems really easy to cheer for, right? He's not really much of a shit talker that I can see. Not that shit talking is bad. I'm okay with that within reason, but he just has good vibes, you know. Seems like a friendly competitor, somebody that you can respect, whether he's your teammate or guy you're going up against.
It reminds me of Tim Duncan.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
You
mean like
it reminds me of Tim Duncan talking shit, and it's just like you know what I mean?
Kind of. I don't know. He's not as like stone-faced, but yeah, I sort of know. I can see it.
Or Andrew Luck, great hit, man. Just
that I can definitely see. Yes.
That's got to be rough. You just knock somebody out, and then they just respond to me like, "Oh, that was nice, good,
great job."
Kirk didn't. He wasn't under a whole lot of pressure, hence the 500 yards. Was it 4 touchdowns?
I think so. It sounds right. I know it was 500 yards, right? Something stupid.
Oh my God, there's so many quarterbacks that just went off this weekend. Mm-hmm. Started with Thursday night.
Well, the Falcons clearly realized, which I hadn't before this game, not to this extent, that the Bucs secondary is just awful. They really can't do anything. So a lot of people were talking about, oh, where's Bijan? Bijan is so disappointing, and especially if you're like doing fantasy and you drafted him first round, yeah, that's probably not what you wanted. But I didn't think he looked bad at all, personally. It's just they weren't running the ball because they didn't have to, nor should they, when the Bucs were that bad on like trying to stop anything down the field. I mean, Drake London and Mooney both had, I think, over 100 yards. I know Drake did. Drake went off, and I think Mooney did too.
Yeah, if you're not buying Mooney as a fantasy owner, then you're wrong. He's very
good,
obviously
right?
a center point of that offense.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I don't know how old he is, but I'd kind of written him off. Good for him, though.
I think a lot of people do, dude.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. God damn it, Derek. Okay. I focused a lot on Bijan because, as a UT fan, I'm just like, I want him to succeed. But I think I've mentioned it before on this pod that, like, I feel like this system isn't doing him any favors. And against a matchup like Tampa Bay, Vita Vea is an absolute monster, dude. And if they run an inside zone, that's bad news. So they predictably were running lots of outside zones, which is trying to help Bijan, but that's predictable. So what I saw was what they felt like they needed to establish the run. So they were just giving the ball in an outside zone to Bijan, and it just wasn't working. Like the Bucs' strength defensively is stopping the run. So It just wasn't a great matchup for him. So I don't think there's anything wrong with him because, like you alluded to, it seems like when he did have touches and the small amount of space that he did have, he looks great. He's so explosive, man. If he's in the right space, the right play, he would have done much better. He should have been given a lot more screen passes, in my opinion, but I'm not an NFL coach.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm obviously a huge Texas homer as well, and Bijan he's one of our saviors, so of course we're going to defend him until he calls it a career. But yeah, I've seen a lot of talk online about, especially again in like the fantasy space, of course, like, oh, Algier actually looks like the better back. Algier has a higher yards per carry. So first of all, yards per carry is one of the stupidest stats that you can use, I think, to evaluate a player.
Really? Why?
Because especially if you're talking about small sample sizes, right? I guess over the course of a career, maybe a season, I can see the argument for it, but it's so reliant upon a bunch of factors that go beyond the player themselves, right? So Algier is not facing the same level of 8-man boxes that Bijan is, right? He's coming in more as a change of pace guy, and he is a good running back. I don't mean to like shit on him, but if you watch that game, there was a clear difference between them two, and Bijan was obviously much better. And in the fourth quarter, he did break a couple tackles and like picked up a couple big chunk yards. Yeah, and he helped them win. And it makes sense. Like as the game wore on, he became more effective, and the Bucs front was starting to tire out a little bit.
Yeah, I like yards after contact a little bit more. It tells a better story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what the stats are, but if you compared between the two youngins, Algier and Robinson, then I bet Robinson's would be a little bit better. But it's hard to say. It doesn't help that, Bijan doesn't have Kirk. He's not really somebody that dumps off to running backs very often. He's just historically, he doesn't have that track record. Like you think about Dalvin Cook. He was known for just being a home run hitter whenever he's given those stretch runs. He's just so fast. When he hit the edge, when he hit that sideline, Dalvin Cook was so explosive and able to change speeds so quickly. They would just give him the ball in that space, and then Kirko would just do what he does, find people downfield. He's really accurate, man. I don't blame the game plan to be focused on just throwing it downfield because Kirk's strength is his accuracy, and he doesn't really care about dump offs very much, so that doesn't help Bijan.
No, he's looking to get first downs, which is one of the reasons he's so easy to root for. Like, he's fun to watch. He's not like half the quarterbacks in the league that just don't want to get hit. don't want to ruin their completion percentage. Do you remember the draft? I don't remember what year it was. Maybe like 2012.
That's weird. I was just thinking about the draft. Continue.
Yeah, maybe not the same one. I think he went 3rd round, right, to the then Redskins. Same draft as RG3, who went 2nd overall.
What? Who are we talking about?
Kirk Thuggins.
Kirk.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't.
Sounds right that he went with RG3 straps.
Yeah, I don't know. Not that I have anything to say about that, but that just popped in my head. And he's come such a long way. Love Kirk.
Yeah, he's fun to root for. I was thinking about the most recent 2 years ago with Bijan. I remember thinking, dude, if he fell to New Orleans, oh my God, he would have been so perfect. He's the perfect player for that offense.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamara's, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, imagine those.
He shares some of the same traits, I think, as Alvin Kamara. In terms of like his pass catching, his ability to shed tackles. He's also a willing blocker like Kamara. He might be the best pass blocker as a running back in the league. Bijan.
Oh, dude, did you see those highlights, man?
Who's better?
It's hard. I can't do my man like that, but yeah, Bijan he's a beast in the right system. He's a beast as a pass blocker. I mean, I've seen Alvin make some key blocks, but recently you got to give it to Bijan, blocking without his helmet and stuff.
Vita Vea did beat him pretty badly at least once, though, but I can forgive him there. Vea is a great player. But yeah, let's talk about the Bucs.
Dude, the Bucs are.
What are they?
Because I don't know. They're not bad. Baker's playing really well.
Baker's good.
They're
fun to watch. Wait, sorry, what?
Confident. Baker's just really confident. Like, you can tell that he's got total command of that offense, and yeah, dude, I like to see it. I'm also kind of rooting for Baker. I'm not sure if he has a whole lot of haters.
Yeah, I don't think he does, especially with the whole like bust turned back into not superstar, but quality NFL starting quarterback for sure. Yeah, he's a fun player, and he's got a great set of receivers, obviously, so that helps him. But no, he's earned my respect. Mayfield, good on him. As much as I hate Oklahoma.
Yeah. Me too. I don't know if they deserved to win that game because their defense was so bad, but I think Baker did everything he could to help them win. And it was another small spread, so it was a coin flip game. Atlanta was favored by 1.5, and it was a Thursday night game, so I said, nope, not betting on that shit.
Smart man.
It was just one of those games. Yeah, anyways. Okay, this reminds me. I wanted to tell you about something. You and I had a little dynasty trade that included Kyle Pitts.
We did. I'm sorry.
Man, and that was what, week 1?
It was before week 1. I don't know how early, but it was definitely before the season started.
Well,
do you remember the trade? Because it wasn't just Pitts, obviously.
Yeah, it was it Dobbs?
Yeah. And that's not looking great either.
Dobbs and Schultz for Flowers and Pitts.
I think you got Romeo Dobbs and Kyle Pitts, and I got Dalton Schultz and Zay Flowers.
Yep.
And I've since dropped Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, and I dropped, and that's the thing, I dropped Pitts.
Yeah. So it was
and
the
then this game happened.
Receivers.
Career highs.
Speaking of Dobbs, have you heard about him skipping practice last week because he was upset with his role?
Yeah. Yeah, the news is he has been skipping practice because he has been unhappy with his role in the Packers offense. Everybody's eating but him, which is weird because he has the second most targets on the team, third most catches. He's doing well. And also, his game script has not been in his favor, and he's still putting up those numbers. It just seems like a diva move to do that. and then the team acts accordingly. I think that makes sense to suspend him for one game. But man, yeah, I don't really understand. He's probably going to get traded. They have so much talent in that room. That's the kind of thing that gets you traded.
Yeah, it was definitely confusing. I mean, diva receivers are obviously nothing new. It's a little weird to hear it coming from Romeo Dobbs.
I know. So quiet.
Yeah. But so I actually didn't watch much of that game, but I did read online coming from a lot of Packers fans that apparently it was kind of evident that like Love was missing his security blanket, so to speak, which is Dobbs.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of trust in his receivers. I don't think his completion percentage was really good, but he played well enough to keep him in the game and win the game. But Love seems to be back. That injury seems to be behind him, and they got the dub. Honestly, it was mainly the Rams kind of losing the game rather than the.
That's what I thought. I only watched the fourth quarter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rams did a great job. Like, this is what I thought they were going to do. They were going to, the first half, they were going to dominate the run game. And that's what happens. And they did a good job of controlling the trenches. And Love is so talented, he keeps them in the game within a possession, not doing his thing. And then what happens is Kyron Williams in the third quarter, I think he fumbles. And then from that point on, we just got a pick in the end zone, baby. Big man running. Big boy. I know I'm behind, but let's go. That's Sanders. Oh no. Screw my camera. There you go. That'll work. Sorry, I got distracted there. What were we talking about? Okay. Yeah, I'll just edit that out. Yeah, the Packers just took over, and the Rams just lost all the momentum after that fumble. And it was their game, man. They controlled the run. They held. There was a bend but don't break off a defense until I guess it was contagious, the drop off after that fumble, because it seemed like the Packers got up another level. They went up a touchdown, and they just couldn't recover. The Rams couldn't recover after that point.
Yeah. I hate seeing the Rams without their two stud receivers. I will say, though, our guy Jordan Whittington, so I guess this is just going to be another Homer pod, but you're familiar with Whittington. He looked really good. I think he had
an awesome catch.
Yeah.
Awesome catch, yeah. He was diving nearly out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
And he fully laid out, caught that ball, secured it before he hit the ground. It was impressive. Yeah, man, I hope he does well. He left that game in a sling.
Yeah, of course he got hurt. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
He's only 24. He'll be fine.
Oh, he'll be fine. I just hope, it's not like an extended time, especially with Puka and Cup still being out. If they could even just get him for like 2 more weeks, that version of Witt, that'd be a big help for them. I kind of thought
last year. Rams?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Last year as a Texas fan, not the NFL, I sometimes thought, especially like in the Sugar Bowl against Washington, we would have been better off targeting Whittington more. It just felt like we were force-feeding the ball to Mitchell, who I'm kind of meh on. Compared to Whittington, at least. I thought he was our second best receiver. What were you saying?
Well, Whittington appears to be a big piece of the Rams, but it's not enough. Like, I wonder if the Rams are screwed, generally speaking, because Stafford doesn't have enough.
No, he doesn't. And the line is still shaky. Like when they have these like impressive drives, they're really just dinking and dunking, which is like fine. That's the classic McVay offense in a way, but it's just not the same. And it feels less, what's it called? Sustainable compared to previous versions of the Rams, even compared to last year.
Yeah. That's too bad. I feel like they have some fun talent like Puka and Whittington, and obviously we need to give more respect to Kyron Williams. He's a good running back. Didn't even mention him. We should have, because he's a good running back. But yeah, the Rams might be done. That division's just too good, which is weird. Actually, that's weird to say that, because we just have this idea that the NFC West is good, but the Niners are 2-3. The Seahawks are 3-2, 4-1, and their first loss this week.
Did they beat the Broncos? I should know this. I know they were losing. I don't know if did they come back?
Oh no, they lost. My bad. So they're 3-2,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who to trust anymore. So when we picked our division winners last week, I think we both said Niners, and like pretty confidently. But yeah, they just seem out of sorts. Kind of funny, actually. Today on a work call, we were talking about fantasy, and one of my coworkers went on like a 10-minute rant about the Niners. And also he picked up Christian McCaffrey apparently in his draft. And so that's been rough for him, and he's also a Niners fan. But he kept saying like they're just not the same without McCaffrey. And even if that's like some really basic armchair analysis, he's not wrong. Like Jordan Mason has been good, but McCaffrey may have been the best player in the league last year. And it's not just like any one thing that he does, right? It's all of it, and how he's able to sort of fill 6 different positions in that offense. It's perfect for Kyle Shanahan, and nobody can really replace that. Not even Debo, who we both love. So I don't know, man. Hopefully he can make it back at some point. I'm pretty skeptical though.
Do you remember last year's NFC Championship game? McCaffrey fumbled.
I do.
I remember them talking about that, and it was a big deal. Obviously, they lost. They lost in the Super Bowl, but it was a big deal because he's not a fumbler, and Jordan Mason fumbled for the first time this weekend against the Niners, against the Cards. And I bet you they were thinking like, oh, we need our guy back because he never fumbles and he provides another dimension to the offense whenever he's in the game. Because when Mason's in the game, they're running the ball.
Exactly.
But with McCaffrey, you don't know. So yeah, I think he's a huge part of the offense, arguably the offense. And even though Purdy played well, it wasn't enough. I didn't watch enough of that game to know exactly what happened, but I do know the Cards are much better when they run the ball with Kyler. When they have designed runs like that, that dude, when he gets going,
yep,
he's faster than Lamar in my opinion.
Oh,
he's
he
faster.
is. He absolutely is. I think Lamar's maybe like shiftier, but in a sprint, Kyler's winning for sure.
Which is crazy. He's so short, but his little legs move so fast.
He's an athlete. But so I watched probably like the second half, or most of it at least, and the Cardinals did a great job stopping the run. They pretty much said, just like you said, like, we're not going to let Mason get downhill on us. If you're going to want to beat us, you're going to go over the top. And Purdy had a good game, but they were also kind of like taking away everyone but Ayuk. Ayuk had his first good game of the season, statistically at least.
Yeah. But
Debo was nowhere. Juwan Jennings was nowhere. He may have even gotten hurt. I'm not sure. But the fact that I don't know tells you all you need to know. It was Kittle and Ayuk, and that was basically their offense. And then on the other side, you're right. The Cardinals kind of did whatever they wanted, at least when they were running the ball, including
running the ball. They ran all over him.
Yep. And Connor's a hell of a back, too. There's a lot of good running backs in this league.
Yeah, I got this quote Well, no, you know what? I should mention first. We talked about this in pod 1, how I think there's something about the team makeup that is causing them to lose these close games. Like when adversity hits, something's happening. This is the second time in 3 games that the 49ers win probability was over 85%, and through the fourth quarter, and then they lose. They're at home. What excuse is there for Kyle Shanahan? Like, he can't keep losing these games. Like, they just lost that game. I know that Kyler, he's inconsistent and he had a good game, but still they have a fast defense. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to contain him.
I'm glad you said that, because for all of our talk about offense, and we do focus more on offense in this podcast, it seems like the Niners 2 years ago were like being talked about as one of the best defenses ever. You remember that?
Yeah.
And at the time, that didn't feel like hyperbole at all. You look down the list of their guys. Obviously, they have some studs like Nick Bosa. You start there. Fred Warner, of course. But then they have like Hufanga is a great safety. They have another great linebacker whose name I'm forgetting. But yeah, I'm not just going to list all of them. No, I already said Warner. Who's the guy next to him? He got hurt. Oh, Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw.
Greenlaw, he's still hurt.
Is he? Oh, well, there you go. Well, I guess they miss him then. But with or without him, they should be playing a lot better, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I guess my hunch is that they need to figure out how to handle adversity like this. Otherwise, I'm gonna regret betting on them to win the Super Bowl, because you know I did. I love betting losers.
Yeah, you do. Were they the only team that you bet?
No, I bet NFC. I bet on the Niners and the Saints. Just kidding. Who did I get?
I definitely believed you.
Nah. The people were talking about like, oh, it could go to the Super Bowl in week 2, right? Come on. I don't remember who else I bet on. It might have been the Packers. Anyways, I bet on the Niners for sure, and then Kansas City, and then Houston in the AFC.
I like that. Green Bay not as much.
Let's jump over to the 12 o'clock game, the Bills and the Texans. You watched that game, right? Like,
I did, yeah.
What a game, man. It was very entertaining.
It was.
But also frustrating at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. For me especially, I'm a huge Nico guy, as you know. I was so happy. I'm like, was it their first or second drive? 70-yard touchdown, and then he pulls up limp, and then now he's day-to-day, then 2 hours later he's week-to-week. So that was frustrating. Please rest up, Nico. On the whole, though, yeah, I didn't really know what to make of it, to be honest, other than the Bills' offense looked like garbage for the second week in a row.
More credit needs to go to the Texans, because they were just all over Josh this entire game, man. Yeah. He was running for his life all game. The Texans' defense is for real.
It is.
And it's going to carry them. Even when Stroud's not playing as well as he was last year, like, they're good. Their defense is good enough now to carry them to dubs. And as long as, Stroud had some really bad turnovers, dude. He had a fumble on his own 15-yard line. Holy shit, that was bad. Inexcusable. And they threw a pick at some point in the fourth quarter. But, man, he's lucky he's got that defense that kept him in the game and at least gave him a chance for Fairburn to kick that winner. But I still think the Texans are for real, and it's a matter of time before Stroud and Mixon come back. I know Stroud's not hurt, but I say that because he's not playing as well as he was last year.
Definitely not as well as he was towards the end of last year. And I think you're right again. that the Texans defense has probably been better than the offense this season through 5 games, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. They're not blowing anybody out.
No. Jalen Petrie.
This might have been the first time they covered, actually.
Say it again.
They might have been. This might have been the first time they've covered. I don't remember what games they've covered, but yeah, they're barely winning games right now. If I had to guess, their point differential is going to be really low.
I also thought, like, once Collins did leave the game, it seemed like their offense sputtered a lot. And I guess, like we've been saying, it's been sputtering too frequently. But with Nico out there, Stroud's looking for him whenever the play breaks down. And when he's not, it seemed like he didn't know what to do. Tank Dell got some more looks, which makes sense. So I'm happy to see that. I think Tank's a really good player. Diggs got a few catches. I'm like lukewarm about Diggs, whatever. But the point was, like, it just wasn't the same threat. Even when the Texans' offense is underperforming as it has been, there's still always a big play threat, right, for any given down. So even just having that is a big step above, like, running the ball at Cam Akers, getting met at the line constantly, and then having to dink and dunk your way like you're the Chiefs, which you're clearly not. There's only one Mahomes.
Hey, quick question. Do you think there's a light in the blue tent? The medical tent? Or is it just dark as hell in there?
I think it's a portal to a different dimension. Probably.
Well, Josh Allen went into that portal and came out unconcussed somehow. There's no way he should have been in that game.
Did you read about, what was it, bath salts or something? Probably not bath salts. Something with salt. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know. I don't know what you're talking about, but I remember hearing somebody say, like, did he just go in there and do some bath salts and then come back on the field? Because when he came back, this was a frustrating part of the game. Mitch Trubisky played one snap. He came back out there and just didn't look the same. He looked bad, and eventually it led down. The next thing coming was the poor clock management, which was, dude, I don't understand it. So the Bills are down 3, right? There's 2 minutes left. This is when Stroud throws that pick, right? The Bills go down. They're held to a field goal. Again, more credit to the defense. But then the next possession, Texans go 3 and out, and they punt it all the way to the 5-yard line. And I think there's only 40 seconds left. And you think, okay, there's not enough time. They got to go to the length of the field. All right, they're going to go conservative here, right? Nope. They throw every play, and they're just horrible. They're terrible throws, almost interceptions. And then they punt from the end zone. It gets to the 50-yard line. Texans have a chance. They go down. They don't have to go very far. And then Fairburn kicks a 59-yarder to win. Like, what? I think Sean McDermott did bath salts too.
Right.
In the blue tent. They just met in there and said, hey, let's do some bath salts together and fuck this game up. Get rid of these,
bro. Josh Allen was definitely concussed, right? When the play happened, he didn't know where he was. I'm serious. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He did not look right.
He looked like somebody that was concussed.
Yeah, exactly.
He played like it. He was 9 for 30, 130 yards, a touchdown. 9 for 30.
Unreal.
That's horrible.
Some of that was pre-concussion, right? But
that looks like a stat line of somebody that was concussed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mainly pre-concussed. Yeah, anyways, that was a tough game to watch. I'm glad it gave me my only win betting wise, but good God, what a shit show that was.
Another thing I hated seeing in that game, I don't know if you caught
What's
this.
That?
One of the Bills' touchdowns to their rookie receiver Keon Coleman. It was like 50 yards or something. It was his only catch, and it was probably their biggest play of the game. He stepped out of bounds at like the 5, and it stood. There was no review, no challenge,
Really?
no nothing. Yeah.
I don't remember.
And in the big picture, it probably doesn't matter, right? I mean, when you get the ball to 5, especially with Josh Allen, you'll probably convert, whatever. But I still hate seeing that, and like that turns me off whenever I see that. Not that it happens frequently, thankfully, but I don't know. Something about that just feels icky.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's any
Gives you
kind
a
of
bad taste,
conspiracy. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was just a bad day.
I want to show you. I'm going to share my screen. A window. Entire screen. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see this play? Ah!
Yeah,
Why did he do that?
you did a wrestling move. When else are you going to do that?
Because if there's any time to do it, it's in a football game.
You didn't.
There's so many funny moments like
Remember
that.
that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man.
I'm sure with the mic on, it would have been even better.
What's that?
I'm sure if he had a mic on, it would have been even better.
Ah.
You ever
my
listen
favorite
to?
days of the week when they release the mic'd up players.
Yeah, this is the best.
Okay, let's jump over to. Let's talk about the Panthers, Bears. So the Bears going into this game were -3, and they were 2-2, and they've been favored twice, and they've won both of them and covered. But the Bears, I mean, I feel like both of our images of the Bears are like they're bad, but they're winning. And Caleb's not great, but he's covering. And I know it's the Panthers, but still, dude, next week they're going to be favored. They're going to be favored by 2.5 against Jacksonville in London. I mean, I think the Bears, I don't know. They're in a really tough division. I don't think they're going to win their division, but
not a chance.
They're surprising a lot of people. I know that.
I don't know if I'd say that though. There was a lot of hype for them coming in, especially with like the Sharps, quote unquote. I hear what you're saying. I'm still a believer in Caleb, but you mentioned the Panthers thing, right? First of all, also their defense is elite. Like it's kind of the same things we said about the Texans. It's true for the Bears, except their offense is just not the same level of threat as the Texans, right? But yeah, if you know, like the players that the Bears have on defense, they have elite corners and they got some studs on the D line as well. It's
Jalen
a hard,
Johnson's
yeah.
a beast.
Oh yeah, he might be the best corner in the league. But they did look good, so that's like encouraging to see. And you can only play who the team in front of you, right? So, and Caleb, I thought looked really good actually. I know, and I thought
20 for 29, 300 yards, couple tutties.
It was the first time where he looked like a number 1 overall pick, and it doesn't matter if it's the Panthers. Like,
and he's still got a lot of ways to go to improve because a lot of those passes I saw in that game were, man, when he misses badly.
Like, yes, it's not even close.
Not even close.
But then when he throws the dime,
absolute dimes.
Yes, and you could tell DJ Moore was like letting off some steam from the first 4 weeks because he finally had a big game, and he had his celebrations ready to go. 2 big touchdowns. So
those were frustration touchdowns.
Yes. He was waiting on them.
Actually, no, they were revenge touchdowns. You know what? There are a lot of examples this weekend of revenge games. You know, Diggs against Buffalo. he didn't do that well, but he did decent. 6 catches, 80. And then you have, the Vikings, Darnold against the Jets. He didn't do very well. But then you have DJ Moore against the Panthers. Panthers gave him up for the first round pick that turned into what's his name? Bryce Young?
Yep, I think so.
Well, anyways, DJ Moore went off, and I think there's like a lot of talk in the media about revenge games, but I'm still skeptical on whether they're real. However, it is in the back of my head whenever, like, if I'm thinking about betting on a game, I'm like, well, it is a revenge game, so there's probably a little bit more emotional investment by some of those players on the team, and I think there might be something to it. Do you think there's anything to that?
My heart says yes. My brain says no. But I do always wonder, like, do the teams themselves and the coaching staff kind of rally around the player and sort of add the revenge component to the game plan? Which I know that sounds stupid, but is it really? Like, we do see revenge games, or the idea of them at least, show up every season, like DJ Moore. And then, like, the Texans were talking, including Nico Collins, they were like talking like the Bills wronged Diggs somehow, which I don't get at all. Like, Diggs was always complaining on the sideline.
Yeah.
And if anything, he went to a better situation. So yeah. So sometimes I do think, like, maybe they are just going to throw them the ball more or hand them the ball more because they're playing their former team. And if you think about it, like, say you were in a front office or just something, and you went and acquired an asset from your competitor, of course you're going to want to try to, like, prove that you came out on top, right?
Yeah, true.
So in a way it does make sense, but I don't know. Maybe. That's where I land.
If I'm putting myself in DJ Moore's shoes specifically, and you're in Carolina and you're surprised with a trade like that, you probably have your family there. You've got your whole life there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're traded to Chicago, of all places, which at the time I'm sure he's thinking, fuck, Chicago? Perennial losers. No offense.
Yeah.
Bears fans. But lately, I should say. And anyways, it's probably doesn't feel great. So then when you get a chance to go out there and be like, you shouldn't have traded me. If I was in his shoes, I'd probably, give an extra 1% more focus during the week, a little harder blocking per play. Like, I would just add a little bit of extra if I was in his position, and I think that would make sense. And I think if you string together all of those positive things, obviously channeling all those things together, it turns into breakout games.
Yeah.
So I think it does play a role individually, and I hadn't considered it being a team thing as well. Like, and I think that happens. Like, there are plenty of teams like the Patriots giving Rob Gronkowski, feeding him more passes to break records. Like, that's on record. They do that. Teams will do that. So
yes,
it's fair to say that if people are chasing records, then they're willing to consider revenge games. So yeah, I think they're more likely to happen than they are to not happen. But like Darnold showed, it does not happen occasionally. Yeah, like, I guess we can jump over to that game. Like, the Darnold was not good against his former team, but man, was that defense incredible.
Dude, you've got me on the Vikings. They look really good.
It's kind of like a Super Bowl team, man.
I don't want to say that.
They really do. I know, hot take, but their defense is that good.
Their defense does, yes. Yeah, their defense for sure. I don't know. I can't believe that Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a hater.
I think it's America thinking the same thing too, man. It went through my head. I was like, it's about damn time Darnold. But
yes, exactly.
The fact that they won anyways, I'm like, well, that probably says more about their team than it does saying that Darnold is bad, and it makes the team worse that he's bad. Clearly, the Jets, they're a talented team. Also, as a Rodgers fan, I want to say that they have played very hard defenses every single week.
That's true. Yeah.
Every team they've played has been very good defensively. So if you're a Wilson owner or a Rodgers owner or a Brees Hall owner, better days are to come.
You're not wrong. Let's see. Who's it been? Niners, Patriots, Broncos.
Yeah, Patriots.
Yeah, Vikings.
Their only good game. Broncos are fantastic. Surtain is so good. And they should have won that game, honestly.
Jalen Johnson. Say what?
They should have won that game against the Broncos, the Jets.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Let's stay on the Jets. Sorry. I saw on. I always get these random team subreddits show up on my feed when I'm scrolling on Reddit, and today I got one for the Jets subreddit, and it was a meme as like an apology to Zach Wilson, basically saying he wasn't the problem. I don't even think it was a dig at Rodgers either. Just that coaching staff looks so bad. And now you have Garrett Wilson complaining about it. And it's not like he's a diva. He's really been a professional since he's come into the league. But you could understand his frustration, right? I mean, he's a premier receiver in terms of talent, and everyone can see it. But they have such a plain scheme. Just like we've been talking about. Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad you brought it up. I think their scheme is so basic, and it's just what they did in Green Bay. They're literally just depending on Rodgers to time his routes with his receivers. That hence all the balls to Lazard. It didn't work because Lazard's dropping the ball, so he's like, well, fuck, I only have Wilson to throw to, so he sends him 22 targets.
Yeah, I think Lazard leads the league in drops. And you're right. They do basically just ask Rodgers to be the version of himself that he was 5-10 years ago. And then you mentioned the timing thing. They're kind of like if the Dolphins, like if Mike McDaniel had his scheme but without all the creativity and without all the movement, that's what the Jets scheme is like. I guess that's an insult to McDaniel, but you know what I mean. It's like,
oh, you mean disc jockey McDaniel?
Yes. It's all drawn up on the board, but not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? There's no room for creativity, it feels like. And they have so many good players. It's frustrating. I don't even own any Jets players in fantasy, but it still sucks to watch.
I think something that's not spoken about enough, this is just an opinion of mine, this gives a lot more credit to Aaron Jones. Because I think in Green Bay, they were still winning. Jones did a great job and still is doing a great job in Minnesota. He just got hurt. But he's an awesome running back. And in Green Bay, they were able to establish the run with Aaron Jones and then whoever their ground and pound guy was. And that's a big deal. The Jets have not been able to establish a run, and they have one of the most talented runners in the league. So, truther here for Aaron Rodgers. I feel like the Jets are still have a chance to break out, and it hasn't come yet. And I think once their offense is able to establish the run, it's going to help Rodgers a lot more. It makes the offense make more sense. It was able to work in the past with the run game. It didn't work as well when they had no talent at all in Green Bay his last year there. But it's going to work here eventually. He's never worked with Wilson, and there's been reports of both those two just being frustrated with each other. I mean,
it looks that way.
His efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it on film. Like,
oh yeah,
Wilson is frustrated.
Yeah,
so
both
is Rodgers.
Right, both in the play and then also when the cameras go pan to them, one of like 10 times that they do during each game. Okay, here.
How many times have you seen this look right here from Rodgers?
That's perfect.
Every
every time I watch the Jets. I'm actually kind of surprised that he hasn't thrown more people under the bus this season. I'm a little bit surprised he's been more self-aware compared to his like last few years in Green Bay. But I guess he realizes that he's obviously not the same level of player. I remember we were fawning over him after the Patriots game, and we were probably just caught up a little bit too much. And I think the Patriots maybe aren't as good on defense as we're saying, or certainly not than we were saying then. But I think I agree with you still. Like, they have played a tough schedule, especially the defenses that they've played. And I just have to believe that in spite of Nathaniel Hackett, like Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers will figure it out. And their O-line is not that bad, which is like the most important thing.
They're running out of excuses. We've already talked about like it's the coaches really that got to step up and figure this out. Like us coaches, these fan coaches can see it plain as day. Like they have great running back. They have so much talent. They're unable to establish a run game. And Aaron, he can still throw the ball. Like he was fucking slinging it in that Minnesota game. I mean, granted, he was playing a great defense, so they made him pay. But he's still got the arm talent. It's still there. In my opinion, he can scramble enough to make plays. So I don't think Rodgers is the problem. Their talent is not the problem. They don't need Davante Adams. I really hope they don't do that.
Where do you think he's gone?
Oh man, I don't fucking know. I know the Raiders don't want to continue paying that salary, so they're trying to dump him as quickly as possible. I think they still owe him $31 million in this year.
I think that's the case for like the next 2 or 3 years, but
is that right? Jeez.
I'm not sure. Here's the next 5 games for the Jets. They get Buffalo at home a week from today, Monday.
Defense isn't that good. We could see.
Yeah, I don't know about the Bills anymore. And then they go to Pittsburgh the following Sunday night. Yep. Then they go to New England. They can win that. And then they host Houston on Halloween.
Oh.
That's
God.
Oh, I think that's a Thursday. Ooh, scary.
Oh, man. That's tough. Oh, my God, that's tough.
And then they go to Arizona 10 days after. It's not a light schedule. So,
yeah.
They just got to start winning.
Man. Well, I hope they figure it out. You're right. That's a tough schedule, so it's like a 50-50 chance that they figure it out. But I think they have the tools to make it work, even if it's a plain offense. It should still work. I think they just need to get their ducks in a row. All right, let's move on. Speaking of tough schedules, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, my God. Dude.
Who have they lost to? They're 1-4 now. They lost to the Ravens in a crazy fucking game.
They lost to the Patriots in week 1.
They lost to the Patriots. I remember that. Tough year for Survivor, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely tough. So many bad beats. And that was one of them, the first week of the season. So many people lost their survival pools betting on Cincinnati.
I think I picked the Niners this week. Beautiful. They lost to the Chiefs in week 2.
The Chiefs, good team.
Then they lost to Jaden Daniels week 3.
Good team.
Yeah. Then they beat the Panthers, and then they lost to Lamar. How much of this game did you watch?
I watched the whole freaking thing.
Yeah, this was the best game of the season so far, in my opinion.
It was so fun to watch. I was sweating because I bet on the Bengals 2.5.
I wanted to puke. I feel like such a Bengals fan now. Okay, so recap. So they're up 10 points multiple times, actually. They were up 31-21, and then they were up again 38-28. And so by that point, everyone watching knows, like, you just got to keep scoring because no one's getting a stop. So don't punt or you're going to lose. So, of course, the Bengals let the Ravens come back. Burrow throws a pick with, 2 or 3 minutes left to give the ball back.
Oh, man, he forced it to Chase.
I didn't think that was a bad throw, truthfully. I thought Jamar kind of was a little weak there. I mean, Chase had a great game. They both had great games. And even if it was a bad throw, like obviously the offense was not the issue. But anyway, Ravens get it back. They tie the game to send it to overtime. Then they win the toss. They get the ball back. And then you saw the turnover, right? What was Lamar looking at? I'm still not sure what happened, but the
He
ball
wasn't expecting the snap.
Yeah, I guess so. He fumbles the snap and it goes back like what 20, 30 yards, and then finally a Bengals player picks it up. And they're already in field goal range or something like that. And certainly Zach Taylor thought they were easily in field goal range because they go
So
run,
three straight times.
exactly down the middle. And mind you, Burrow throws for 5 touchdowns today or yesterday. Silly stat line, and he looks like an ace, like the Burrow that we all know and love. Why would you settle for a 55-yard field goal? So of course
everybody's making them, man. They're probably like, oh, it's through 4 weeks. Everybody's making them. Surely McPherson's going to hit another 50. Yeah, the mindset of assuming that they're going to hit the 50-yard field goal was a mistake.
It's unbelievable. Zach Taylor's the problem.
I got to say, in high school, I was a kicker as well as a bunch of other stuff.
Of course.
And if the snap is bad, it makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. I'm not trying to lay into McPherson at all. It was a bad snap. And I won't even blame the holder, the place kicker, whatever the name is. It's all on Zach Taylor. Like, just get one first down at the very least. Why? Like,
and also
why
coach your defense to not be a sieve. Good God, their defense.
Also that, yes. But you know your defense isn't going to get a stop. So you might as well just try to end the game. Don't leave anything.
More aggressive.
Right. It's not that hard. So then botch snap, missed field goal, and then Derrick Henry runs for 70 yards. Game's over. Wow. But excellent game, though, especially if you love points, which who doesn't?
I hate points.
Yeah, me too. It was the worst game I've seen.
I
did feel sick after, though. But it was a lot of fun.
The Ravens have been out rushing teams 150 yards per game.
Yeah,
that's a Super Bowl team if I've ever heard of
They're
one.
quite nice. Well, it was funny because the Bengals were somehow doing a great job stopping Derrick Henry in the rushing attack, but it was just that Lamar was carving him up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was.
And then Henry, of course, had the one big run in overtime to save his fantasy stat line, but I don't know. It just seems like the Bengals are cursed now. Yeah, and their defense is ass, obviously, but they're finding ways to lose games, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Okay, dude, this is not related, but I need to bring it up. This game was the first time of the 2 times it happened yesterday where the Bengals are going to kick a field goal. And they were huddled over the ball, they were ready. They were lined up, ready to kick the field goal. The ref stands over the ball and is not allowing them to snap the ball. The Bengals get a delay of game, and it kicks back the field goal even further. This was not at the end of the game.
This was in regulation.
Yeah. And
I
was Zach Taylor went fucking nuts. I mean, I would too. That's ridiculous. It happens to oh yeah, that's right. It happened it's happened 3 times. This happened first in the Thursday game. Remember Raheem Morris? He was absolutely livid because the 51-yard field goal turned into a 56-yard field goal for Koo to win the game against Tampa Bay.
That's
because the ref was standing over the ball, not allowing the Falcons to snap it, and then they get a delay game. He was beside himself. And I would be too, because it's ridiculous. Like, why is this happening? It happens again in the I'm pretty sure it happened in the Pittsburgh-Dallas game.
Do you know why? Is it to let the defense sub?
I went down a rabbit hole with the why. And I think it was a lineman. I think it was the former Cleveland Brown guy, Joe Thomas, the guy who's going to the Hall of Fame. He mentioned that the center has to approach the ref and say, "I'm ready to snap the ball." I think it was him. He said it in a tweet. And I think that might be a factor that people are not considering, but I can't say for sure. But it feels weird that it's happened so much already in a short period of time.
Yeah, that's a little bizarre, for sure.
Dude, I would be so pissed if that happened.
I would too.
I mean, in those situations, though, I don't think they missed field goals.
That's good.
But
I feel like the NFL has been a little bit more nitpicky this year, which I guess is like, in a way, what we've been asking for, or at least some people have asked for.
Yeah,
but it's about
like
the weirdest. Yeah, it's about the weirdest issues, like the whole
fucking illegal man downfield. You know how many times that's been called for RPO? Holy shit! We're talking like within a yard of a player being illegally downfield. The rule is the transition between a run to a pass play. As long as you're within 1.5 yards from the line of scrimmage, then you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling it like twice a game now for every NFL game.
Not tight. Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know if you remember opening night, Chiefs versus Ravens. Yeah, first game of the season.
Yeah.
They called not a false start, but like a misalignment on
illegal motion. They called illegal motion a bunch.
Is that what it was? But it wasn't even a motion thing. It was just that like the left tackle was lined up too far back ahead of the snap.
Oh, okay, you're right. No. They were calling illegal formations. Illegal formations when you don't have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage.
Right. So they called that a bunch, like 6 times that game. And I guess I haven't seen it that much now, actually, but that really set the tone. It's been, just a weird season with the new kickoff, and I'm not sure what's going on.
A lot of games really that have been turned into flag fests, and it's been tough to watch.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Before we move on to our next game, I wanted to ask you. This has been primarily an offensive pod, but I want to know who are your favorite defensive players to watch. I put it in the Ravens Bengals section because I'll go first. One of my favorite players, in no particular order of these players, and I mentioned them. One of them is Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
He's a safety for the Ravens.
Yep.
He's all over the place. He's so tall, and his ability to be that athletic and fire down the field for a sack and then also make fantastic coverage plays. It's like he's been watching a lot of Ed Reed film over there in Baltimore, but he's so fun. I love that dude so much. And then in the safety department, Budda Baker, dude, he's the closest thing we have to Troy Polamalu right now. That man is a heat-seeking missile, and he's like 200 pounds, and he's small.
He reminds me of Cam Chancellor, actually. So yeah,
Budda Baker does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he establishes authority on that defense, and it's fucking cool. Then Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude. I didn't put T.J. Watt on here because I compared T.J. Watt with Myles Garrett.
Okay.
And their styles are different. Myles Garrett absolutely has the athleticism to overpower people, and he does. He will do that. But what I like about Garrett, and I put Aaron Donald in here. He's not playing anymore. But they have similar games because they're so skilled with their ability to maneuver around their tackles and not depend on their brute speed.
Yeah, their bend is ridiculous.
Yeah, for a guy like that size and his flexibility, it's just incredible to see. So every time he lines up, it's the only thing I care about when I watch Browns games. Myles Garrett is the best. And if his team wasn't bad, and if they were better than the Steelers, he would be making a strong case for Defensive Player of the Year. But I think TJ Watt's going to win it because he's getting the numbers. And then Fred Warner. I mean, he's got it all. He flies all over the field. I love athletic. Well, they're all athletic. Stupid. I love players that can do many things and excel at them. And Fred Warner is definitely one of those guys. So he's definitely in my list. And then another player that is flying up it is another defensive back, Pat Surtain. I've watched a lot of Broncos football, and the dude is the truth. He's got the numbers to back it up. I mean, every team he's played, he's much better than what's his name, Sauce, and I think he's here to stay.
I agree. Is that your list?
That's my list. I included Aaron Donald in there because that's how good he is. I provided 6, but yeah, what's yours?
No complaints from me. I mean, those are all studs. I'll try to give some different style of player. I'll start with Jalen Johnson. I think he's, at this point, the only guy who's got a case for maybe being in the same class as Surtain.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I watch Jalen Johnson, it's funny because I don't think he's that fast or anything. Now, obviously, pretty much any cornerback in the NFL is very fast. You don't really have a choice there. That's what the position is. But I don't think he's especially fast for being a cornerback. But he is just so good at like being sticky. It feels like he knows where his receiver's going before the receiver knows themselves, you know? Like he can read their minds.
He has an instinct to read receiver really well.
He's just born to play the position. And he's got great ball skills too. So, and he's a willing tackler, which you love to see in any defensive back. So good on Jalen. I think he's a big part of that Bears defense. Yeah. Then I'll say Chris Jones. Pretty basic answer there.
Oh, dude.
How could you not mention Chris Jones? Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Probably the best defensive tackle in the league for my money. Now that Aaron Donald has retired.
Yep.
Even just tonight, like the dude is unblockable. Whether it's a run or a pass, like you can double him if you want, but you're not really going to move him. His strength is unreal. Like he's very fast, but he's also just insanely strong. All right, I'll move on. Quinnen Williams, I really like him too. Yeah, not quite as good as Chris Jones, I don't think, but definitely still in the elite interior defensive line tier for sure. Pretty much all of the same stuff you could say about him, but just a little bit less good. You already said Fred Warner. I'm trying to think of a good safety that I love. I mean, Hufanga's good, but I haven't watched him enough to really go on a rant.
Me neither. I know that he's good, but I haven't seen enough to.
Yeah, exactly.
Say why.
Okay, I'll mention a rookie, and this is another homer pick, but I don't think it's off base at all. DeMarvion Overshown for the Cowboys. So he tore his ACL. Yeah, he tore his ACL in the preseason of his rookie year, which was last year. That dude can move, and he's really strong. He's a linebacker, and I think he's already probably the second or third best player on the defense. And right now with Parsons out, he might actually be the best player. I don't think that's too crazy to say. The guy just like you said that about Budda Baker, he's a heat-seeking missile. That's what Overshown is. And I remember when he was at Texas, I followed the team very closely, obviously. He started as a safety, so you know he's got the speed, and I think that translates really, really well in 2024 football for a linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Because he's good in coverage, especially going up against like a tight end. And most running backs, he's able to stay with them. He's not going to get run off the field. Like even just last night, I saw Najee Harris beat, who was it? Eric Kendricks, I think, so many times. And you do not want your linebacker getting beat by Najee Harris of all people. Not to be like a huge hater, but no, he's so slow.
Everybody knows. It's one of those everybody knows, but we don't talk about it. Like, yeah, Najee, yeah.
He's Najee. Yeah, he's Najee. Overshown can kind of do it all. So I think he may end up being like a Pro Bowler this year, which is not like the biggest award, but
yeah. I want him to though. I will root for him,
yeah.
And if he gets that Fred Warner level, I mean, yeah, he would quickly be one of my favorite players to watch consistently. It just sucks that he's a Cowboy.
Well, let's see if Jerry's willing to pay him in 3 years.
Oh God, what a shame that would be. Let's talk about Dallas. I want to.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about your dumb team.
Oh wait, we won. What am I saying?
Yeah, but
it didn't feel like a win.
God, how frustrating is it for a Cowboys fan? Like, why are we winning games like this? Like, what a sweat that was. What a shit show too. God, fucking an hour and a half rain delay.
That was the most Pittsburgh football game I've ever seen.
It's a horrible game. I mean, there was toxicity all over the place, both on Pittsburgh and Dallas sidelines, and I hate that shit. And then, Fields does his. Fields, did you know that Fields leads the league in fumbles?
No, I didn't. Not surprising though.
Yeah, he's got 5 lost fumbles now, and he deserves credit, but he's just not the answer. And I think we got plenty of evidence in that game. The Dallas defense is decimated. I mean, they were missing their 2 best players defensively. So, yeah, it's just, I'm glad the Cowboys were able to pull out a dub, but Fields just, he lacks. I saw this thing. He is, hold on. Maybe I didn't write it down. Anyways, he is an elite thrower. No, he's an elite runner and a great thrower of the football, but he's not a good quarterback.
Does that
make sense?
Yep, it does. That's who he is.
Dude, he throws the ball. It looks fucking great. Throws a great spiral. But man, he struggles at like doing the simple things really well. Like a lot of those times in the game, I'm like, man, Pittsburgh should have done so much better on offense because Fields missed a wide open player because he just looked down his number one option. He doesn't go through his progressions, and it's so frustrating. Like, they got to move on to Wilson, in my opinion. They have to.
I think they will at this point. I actually didn't think it was like anything too damning last night, although I guess I was only watching the Dallas side of stuff. But you're right. Like, Fields, if his first read is there, I think he's as capable as your average NFL thrower of the ball. It's not just the fact that it's a pretty spiral, right? He's got a great arm, but you're right. He can't process like any concept of a defense. We have concepts of a defense that are thrown at him. I just don't know about Wilson is the thing. I'm not sure that's going to be any better for Pittsburgh, but maybe it will. I don't know. He certainly won't have the same like size of a playbook to work with, though, I would think. But yeah, Pittsburgh looked pretty inept on offense, and honestly, kind of almost the same way on the Dallas side. Like, I didn't feel great about what I was seeing from Dak.
No, I guess towards the end, 2 bad picks.
Yeah.
2 bad.
Oh God.
What are you guys paying him? $61 million?
Something like that.
Good
I mean, he had a couple throws where it's like, oh, and Collinsworth was like fawning over the 2 throws that he made that were like perfectly placed. But you don't pay that much for 2 throws. Thank God for Jalen Tolbert, I guess. Once again,
Aren't you paying somebody else?
Yeah.
A lot of money?
What's his name? I was about to say his name. His name is Sheep. I don't know why we refuse to throw CeeDee Lamb the ball in the second half of any game.
CeeDee Lamb has 4 catches for 25 yards in the second half of all 5 games in 2024 combined.
There you go. There it is. I feel that on my fantasy team. Clearly,
why?
I don't know.
You lost Kellen Moore. You're supposed to be better at this.
We didn't have Kellen Moore last year, and CeeDee had like the second best season of any receiver statistically. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's pretty obvious we're like forcing him the ball on the opening drive, so he's involved in the game script that we come out those first 10 or 20 plays. But then then it's like Dak's never looking his way. I don't understand, and I realize like he's being doubled a lot, but any real elite receiver is.
Yep.
So, like, what are we just going to accept that as fact and not even try to scheme up anything? I don't really understand it at all. And even when we do throw him the ball, it feels like they're always just these little 5-yard curls, which is not really going to do much, you know? Yeah, I'm sick of it. He's our best player, offense or defense, for my money at least. So I don't know.
Rico Dowdle might be your best player. He looks great.
He did look good, actually.
He was getting whatever he wanted against a very good defense.
Yeah, I was surprised that they weren't really stopping the run, of all things.
You got
maybe they are frauds
there.
Or maybe Dallas is for real.
Zach Martin. No, I don't think they're for real either, but I think Zach Martin's for real. He's never cramped before.
Until last night.
I don't believe that shit. He's never cramped, and a professional football player has never cramped in his. So that tells me, are you telling me you've never found that threshold during all the exercise in your life, much less a lineman? Come on.
It must have been a terrible feeling. Can you imagine you're in the middle of a game and then you cramp for the first time in your life? You have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I know when I cramp, I feel like I've been shot. Around me.
Especially if it's the hammy, which it usually is.
Oh God, those are the worst. I don't remember
that. Or you ever get a jaw cramp? That shit sucks.
A what cramp?
A jaw cramp, I think, is what it is.
You said a jock cramp.
Oh no. I guess
I've had a jaw cramp before.
I hate that.
I've had plenty, actually.
Or a foot cramp.
A foot cramp. I've had one of those too. I have. You know what? This is a coincidence, but yesterday I had my first ab cramp. Not a stitch. You know how like people get a stitch from running, like deep within their abdominals. Yeah. I'm talking about like a cramp on one of the abdominal core muscles. It hurt like a bitch, and I'd never felt that before, and it was horrible. I thought alien was going to come out of my stomach.
Oh, dude, did you watch Romulus?
No, not yet.
No, I haven't either. Actually, shame on me. I still want to watch it. Oh, I've never gotten that. That sounds terrible. But I don't have a 6-pack like you, so.
It's in there. It's in all of us.
Somewhere, yeah.
Mike Tomlin has so many good quotes all the time. At halftime, did you hear that he said, if we stop kicking our own butt, we can start focusing on theirs.
I did hear that. He talks like your average high school football coach, except you can actually like believe what he says. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's so fun in interviews. I really like looking at interviews after games. Such a waste of time, but it's so fun watching players be normal. And he's not one of those. His normalcy is saying the weirdest shit. There's a difference between making wine and stomping grapes.
Is that another one? I've never heard that one.
I don't get it, but he loves to say that one.
Okay, actually, I forgot to bring this up. Another notable thing that happened during that game, they benched George Pickens by all accounts.
They benched him?
Yes. So I want to find the quote from Mike Tomlin. 1 second. So I know this because he's on my team in our dynasty league, and I played him, and luckily I beat Josh. Anyway, but he really wasn't on the field very much at all. I think he was on the field for a little less than half the snaps.
I saw that, but I didn't realize he had gotten benched.
Well, I mean, Tomlin didn't say that explicitly, so I'm trying to find what he said.
But it's reminiscent of being benched. I mean, he was also being a little baby. Like usual.
Yeah, that too. It was embarrassing. He gave, I think it was Jordan Lewis, like a face mask after the final whistle had been blown.
Shit was funny.
In the game. That's embarrassing. Okay. So this was after last week when Pickens had like 120 yards or something. And at this point, I've already said like enough nice things about Georgie on this podcast, so I'm done there. He is a prima donna, unfortunately. And I still maintain like he's easily their most talented skill player, but that's not an excuse for being a whiny baby. So somebody asked Tomlin after the game, Mike, George Pickens wasn't one of your higher snap players on offense. There was a whole series where he was on the bench in the second half. What went into that? And then Tomlin says, we just wanted to kind of minimize his reps in an effort to get more productivity. We're just trying to manage in terms of the totality of the big picture. He wasn't less of a focal point in terms of our intentions of what we wanted to do offensively, but we want to cut his little reps. We want to cut his reps a little bit in an effort to get higher quality play, just in general. In other words, he was benched. That's what I heard. So there's multiple reasons that could be behind that. And certainly you could just justify it by he's a baby. And you wouldn't be wrong. But I kind of think, I mean, I stole this from a Reddit post, but I wonder if it had something to do with Davante Adams. Because we know...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We know the Steelers really wanted Brandon Ayuk. And apparently they were like one of the highest bidders, if not the highest bidder. And then it just didn't end up happening, right? But I know Davante Adams is interested in going to Pittsburgh for whatever reason. And then, like, I saw in The Athletic that whatever that clown owner is in Las Vegas, I don't know his name. Apparently he's not willing to accept any less than like a second, plus a player. And Pickens would kind of make sense. I mean, the whole point would be
that head case off your hands.
Right. And get a better receiver. Unfortunately, he's like 10 years older, so that would suck for them. But I guess if you're trying to win now, it makes sense. And
that's interesting.
Vegas gets a receiver, yeah. Probably just speculation, but who knows?
Well, Davante Adams was a player that wasn't in my top receivers list, but he was an honorable mention. He deserves to be mentioned because that's how good he is. He's not having a great season right now, but I would love to see him on a better team and succeed. It's definitely not Las Vegas. Good God. Can't believe I bet on them. But, Vegas is not it. Maybe Pittsburgh. That'd be cool. I mean, Russell Wilson and him might work. So.
I thought that would be the case with Pickens. Maybe we won't see it, though.
I guess we might. Wilson's supposed to come back next week, from what I understand.
Oh, has that been announced?
No. I think that's just like in terms of like his estimated time of arrival from the calf injury. He's been practicing and stuff. So
gotcha.
Limited.
We'll see. They finally have enough reason to bench Fields, it looks like.
There were some fun comments in this game because I like to peruse the Reddit comments, the live ones. They're usually not upgraded.
In the game thread?
Upvoted during the Pittsburgh-Dallas game.
You only pick the ones that are most controversial.
Well, it's in the eye of the beholder. Okay, First one. Mike McCarthy has soda with breakfast.
Oh my gosh. Yes, he does. 100%. Wow. Rare insults.
Dak, you fucking donkey.
Heard that. Still true.
Okay. I'm surprised Chris Collinsworth can even speak with all that fellatio he's performing.
Oh my
Why
God.
did they give Mike Zimmer a hat from the discount bin at TJ Maxx?
He does look weird, doesn't he? Whenever they pan to him, he looks so lost.
Next one. My ass is haunted.
What? What?
You know what would make this game great is if lightning killed a dude right now.
Oh my god. Dude, you know who Mike Zimmer reminds me of? I finally put it together when I read that or heard that comment that you just said. He reminds me of Creed from The Office.
Oh yeah.
Picture that next time you see him.
I see the resemblance.
Oh gosh. Okay, moving on.
Okay. Two more. No, last one. It's a doozy. Fields kind of looks like Pepe. Looks like the Pepe Frog meme.
Oh my god, yes he does.
And then
Let's go.
And then a guy with the Reddit account called Pepe the MF Frog comments response that says, "You rang." And then the OP was like, "What the fuck?" And that was his next comment.
It's Fields' burner.
Oh, that was
God
so
help us
funny.
all.
Oh man. Hey, okay, I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
I want to play a game. It's a game where you pronounce names. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I want you to first pronounce.
I'm gonna lose this game.
I'm going to give you hopefully a warm-up. Okay. What the heck?
I'm judging your subreddits real quick.
How dare you? Pronounce this one.
James Cook.
Good. Okay.
1 for 1.
All right. Next one. That was a warm-up.
I'm warm.
Pronounce this player. He's a nickel for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Collinsworth definitely said his name. Amani Oruwariye.
Oh, dude, you nailed it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, that one you can kind of sound out. It's not trivial, but all right.
Dude, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, next one.
Just sounded it out. Okay, so Tua, I only know because I've heard it so many times. Tua Tagovailoa, right?
Oh.
Is that wrong?
Confident. That's incorrect.
Dang. How do you say it?
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tunga?
Tongue. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
He released a video of how to pronounce his name correctly.
Oh, that's right. That's
Man.
right. Everyone's been saying it wrong.
You started off so strong. It's all right. It's your first miss.
When he was at Bama, I had no idea. So he was just Tua. But I guess I still don't.
Everybody else, man. All right. Next one.
Yeah.
I accidentally closed the screen. This one also. I'm giving you a chance because all these people that I'm giving you are either starters or like considerable players in the NFL.
So I've heard their names. Yeah. Oh gosh. This is not going to go well. Dare Ogunbowale.
Yeah, I think that's close enough.
It's close, right?
Ogunbowale. Yeah.
I
think you said that right.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. All right. I'll count that as a dub. What are you, 3 for 1? We're not counting James Cook. 3 and 1. Okay, next one. A starter. Good player, too.
Oh, he's a rookie. This guy's good.
Yeah.
Henry.
Big reason why that defense is good.
Yeah. A lot of the things I was talking about Overshown can apply to him. Henry Tua. No?
Nah. Man, close enough. It's
know.
supposed to be Toa,
Toa.
not Tua.
I just want to say Tua.
Okay, next one.
Toa. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa.
You got it. That is correct. That one's also another sounded out.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. 2 more. This one's tricky.
Oh, I'm very familiar with this guy because I'm a Bengals homer now, even though they suck. Andre Yoshivash. That's Yoshi.
That's incorrect. Are you
It's
sure
not-
that's your final answer?
It's not Yoshivash?
No.
What is it?
Yosivash.
That's what I said. Yoshivash?
You said Yoshivash. It's without the H. Like people call him Yoshi, but it's pronounced Yosivash.
Yosivash.
Yeah.
Is there an H on the end? The second S?
No.
So Yosivas?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. The nickname is not doing anyone any favors.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Very significant player.
Last name is Lenore. Lenore. No, I don't know. Diomedore Lenore.
You got it.
Did I?
Nice, dude.
Okay. It took me a
You
few
win.
months. I won.
You win the game.
What's my prize?
You get a pat on the back. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back, but that's what you win.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for playing that game with me.
For sure.
Okay, let's move on. Can I show you my favorite play of the weekend?
Yes.
It happened in the New York Giants Seattle Seahawks game. Did you catch any of that game?
Not really, no.
Fucking shit show. Because the Giants, with no Malik Neighbors, were dogs by 7 points. And once again,
They
like
won.
the Cardinals, like the Giants, those 7-point dogs, man, they're crushing it this year. They're all covering. They're 16-2 this year. The first time since 1960 that dogs of 6.5 or more are covering at that rate.
They're 16-2 against the spread.
Yes. Or I don't know about winning outright. It might be closer.
That's insane.
But anyways, it's insane. Like,
yeah.
Is Vegas just doing this on purpose to make money? The public is absolutely getting crushed with all these dogs winning. You know? It's just crazy. Anyways, it was an ugly game. The Seahawks lost it. I mean, Geno's playing well, but man, fucking DK Metcalf fumbles again, and in a costly time. And Daniel Jones had a good game. Not a good combination. Turning it over, and then Daniel Jones playing well without Neighbors. It was dumb enough to bet against them.
Is there a chance that Daniel Jones is starting for the Giants again next year?
There is a chance. He's playing well right now, which is annoying. He's unlocked that running game, so it's hard to say no. You know?
Well, I thought he was actually kind of solid when they made the playoffs a couple of years ago, and then he was like so bad last year before he got hurt.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I still kind of hope he starts to sputter because I don't know. I feel like Neighbors deserves a better quarterback, but I don't know. I mean, he's producing, I guess.
Yeah, he is on the Giants. I don't blame you for thinking that.
I do like Brian Dable, actually. I think he's a legitimately good coach.
Yeah, the front office isn't helping him though.
No.
That Hard Knocks did not make them look good.
No, it did not.
Still fascinating though.
It was so entertaining, but also pretty funny.
Oh, we haven't talked about it on this pod, but
No, we
dude,
haven't talked about it in real life. Yeah,
dude, I loved it so much. I can't wait for next year's behind the scenes front office. That shit was so fun. I loved it.
It's way more interesting than hearing about players talk about their side quests. I'm sorry, but it just is.
Yeah, something about the human element in football players that I enjoy so much, and that's why I like to watch the interviews, post-game interviews, and then all the Hard Knock stuff. And the New York Giants one was great. Got to see the neighbors behind the scenes. Oh, we got to see the Jaden Daniels behind the scenes.
That was cool too.
What did he say? He was asked like, "Do you remember that play call?" He's like, "No, but we're gonna try to throw a touchdown."
Yes, and then Dable
was like,
"I like
okay.
that." Yeah,
and they proceeded to draft neighbors. But still, anyways, not to get a tangent. Let me show you my favorite play of the weekend. It happened in this game. Sharing screen.
Which game?
Giants, Seahawks. Watch Jackson's.
I saw this one live, actually. Yes.
You saw it happen live?
Yeah, this is one of the few things I saw from the game. This was elite.
Okay, dude. Watch Jackson Smith and Jigba. Runs a go. Oh, I'm catching the ball.
Nope.
So good.
What about
it's so funny.
And then the Giant corner dives.
No, it doesn't. It's not. Is that in this reel?
Oh no, you froze. Or maybe I froze.
That would be crazy if he dives.
I know he falls.
Oh, if you kind of see him like make a athletic motion. Huh. Man, I would love to see that. But yeah, that was my favorite play of the day. So what happened with the Saints game? I stopped watching.
They suck, dude. They're ass. I shouldn't have been so bullish on them.
This is the game. This is the game that we find out and we learn that they are not for real.
Dude, Derek Carr, he throws so slow. Like, not the ball, but like his release.
Yeah, he's not pleasurable to watch.
You know what? Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about? Also, the play calling is really kind of hard to believe. They're literally just running first, second down, and then not just throwing on third down, but just chucking it. No concept of like the intermediate part of the field at all. Where was this against the Cowboys? I guess we weren't able to stop Kamara like the Chiefs, but
we're reverting back to last year. I don't really get it.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it's also unsurprising to me because I've never really been this season suddenly like, oh, the Saints are going to go to the Super Bowl at any point. I've always wondered if this was fool's gold, and I feel like we got our answer tonight. And I still think there's a chance that Dennis Allen gets fired.
I think so too. It looks like they're the clear third best team in the division, right? Behind Tampa and Atlanta.
Yeah, I might even go and consider betting a little bit on the Falcons or the Bucks, but to win the division. It's not going to be the Saints. I think they're going to eventually choke even harder, and it would be even better if they the team would improve if we just moved on from Dennis Allen because there's something going on.
Yeah,
I think.
Go get high draft pick. Go get Shedeur Sanders or something.
That'd be fun.
Actually, maybe not. I don't think you want that because of his dad. But I think he's a good player.
Can we just trade for freaking Joe Flacco. That dude's awesome.
Just Carr for Flacco straight up. I think the Colts would definitely say no.
That's so sad.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Man, you're not wrong. I mean, it's mainly because Flacco's that good. He's amazing. So I know you didn't watch much of that game, but let me tell you, I watched a lot of that game, and Flacco was the truth. He was not the reason they lost that game. The defense absolutely shit down their legs.
Their defense sucks.
Yeah. And they really gave up the run so badly. Tank Bigsby just went off. But, man.
Really?
I think that's how much respect I have for Flacco. Like, an inconsequential division game that neither of us really have any dogs in that fight. But, man, Flacco is so good. He's, like, one of the funnest players to watch in the NFL. Quarterback-wise, I would say. He's a gunslinger and does not care. Lower completion percentage today, but he was just dropping bombs. Alec Pierce just going off. Michael Pittman, they're all back.
Josh Downs, dude. Josh Downs is good.
Yeah. It's great. I loved it. I loved watching it. It got me thinking about the quarterbacks that I like to watch the most. Flacco's up there. And I'm talking like quarterbacks that are pleasurable to watch. You know, Derek Carr, he's not the worst, but boy, is he tough to watch. It looks like
he is a tough watch.
His range of motion for throwing the ball is really poor, and it just doesn't look good. He throws ducks a lot.
It looks like your 50-year-old uncle throwing at Thanksgiving. I'm not even joking that much. Flacco is fun, yeah. And he's willing to throw downfield, but he throws with confidence, you know.
Dude, it's so smooth too. CJ Stroud's like that.
Delivery. Right.
I really enjoy Stroud throwing the ball. Dude is just so good. His mechanics are out of this world, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Mahomes, of course.
How did Burrow's got a great delivery. I'm a homer.
Yeah, Burrow's fun to watch. And he's playing well too. It's great.
How did Trevor Lawrence look?
He still had a few lapses, but he looked better.
Okay. Well, I know
he's got a nice ball too. He's got a nice ball.
Yeah.
But he's inconsistent, so I wouldn't put him in my top players to watch.
No, definitely not. I think I might want to keep watching the Jags though for Brian Thomas.
Dude, Brian Thomas is awesome.
Yep.
He's like one of the few receivers in the league that's getting as much separation as A.D. Mitchell is on the Colts.
Are you a big A.D. Mitchell stan?
He's proven it. He's not getting the numbers right now because there's a lot of mouths to feed in Indianapolis. But with Flacco, if I was a fantasy owner, I would consider it. A.D. Mitchell is – everybody on that Colt offense is going to eat eventually, and A.D. Mitchell has the best separation score in the league. That's how good he's been. So it's inevitable. I think the score is called ASS, Average Separation Score.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with ASS. I'm
like
another skeptic of that metric. I feel like the grades for separation are largely dependent on the type of routes and the coverage that's shown. But I hear you. I mean he's a good route runner. He's also had some pretty bad drops though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the Colts will be a fantasy gold mine because the perfect combination is good quarterback, good O-line, shit defense. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's true.
Scores.
Good point.
So you're not wrong.
Trash points. Garbage time. Yeah, but now we no longer have any winless teams in the league. The Jaguars won.
Damn it.
And the Colts are, I don't know, an average team.
I don't know either. Probably below average because of their defense. But I will be watching more of them, especially once Taylor gets back.
Yeah. Their offense is just fun to watch. So I would, if I had the quad box like you do, I would, if they were playing, I'd probably put them on.
I'll include them next week, most likely. I don't know who they play, but we'll see.
I know that the Jags might be favored again the next time they play. Oh no, they're not.
They play the Bears. That's right.
They play the Bears, and the Bears are going to be favored.
Dude, I think they're going to beat the Bears because they have home field advantage.
Oh, they do. They always play well.
They're playing 2 weeks in a row there, right?
Yeah. You know what's weird? There's a weird trend with London games. The favorites usually win. And this might be, yeah. If the Jaguars aren't favored, then they might be losing this game. But
okay.
What do I know?
London Jags.
It's just
Wakey Wakey. I do love that ad.
It is a good ad. All right. I think. Is there anything else you want to bring up? Because I think we've pretty much. Oh, there's one more note I have here. Dolphins Patriots.
Oh yeah.
OBJ played
a football game. Did he really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Targets. Too bad Tua's not there. But he did play. That's literally the only note I have there.
Nice. I'll miss the days of people saying Odell whenever they catch something. You don't hear that
anymore.
Should
be Jamar Chase now.
Yes, it should.
Chase. He literally broke OBJ's record of 60-yard plus touchdowns in a career.
Yesterday?
Chase has already broken it.
Dude, he's like 24 still. He's so good.
I know. Chase is going to be – he deserves that contract. I hope he gets it.
He'll get it, yeah. Higgins will walk, but he'll get it.
Oh, man. Higgins is good, too. What a nice situation they're in.
Still losing games.
I know. They're 1-4. You still feeling good about the Cincinnati making the playoffs?
I swear to you, I was when they were up 10 points in the fourth quarter. I was like, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the best quarterback in the league, my guy. And one of the best receivers, maybe the best receiver, but no. You can't stop Zach Taylor. He's too powerful.
Incompetent lately too, man. Decision making is just what the
I can't believe that. Whatever. I already talked about it.
All right, well, that's all I got. Anything you got?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
All right, well, let's take a quick break for our sponsor. Just kidding. We don't have a sponsor.
Austin
FC. Maybe if they listen, they'll sponsor us. All right, well, let's go over to your corner, man. What's going on with you? What's going on with you, man?
What's going on? All right, I'll give you the elevator speech. Work has finally picked up. I started my new job late August. That was back when I was still in Texas. I do work from home, so that's nice. But the football game really got me kind of fucked up last night with the weather delay. So now sorry I've been yawning like this whole pod, but that's just because I'm tired. But anyway, I like to use the excuse that I'm tired for many things, right? It's a catch-all. And it's not like I'm lying ever, but at the same time, it is kind of convenient. So my corner here, whilst watching football yesterday, I got a notification from my Google Calendar saying it's Lumi's birthday. Oh, I wasn't going to drop her name. Damn it. Too late. So my friend Lumi, it doesn't matter, right? Nobody's listening. But anyway, my friend from when I was living in D.C., which was now 4, 5, 6 years ago, for those 2 years out of my undergrad when I was in D.C., she was one of my very best friends up there, part of a group of 5 of us that were really good friends. And so I moved back to Texas really in the middle of lockdown during the pandemic, or at least in DC it was still locked down. I think in Texas stuff was already opening up. Obviously time goes on and it's hard to keep up with people. So we're not nearly the level of friends that we were then, obviously. But earlier this year we had finally started to pick up our messaging again. This was in the spring months. And both Lumi and I are quite bad at texting or whatever. And we also like to, both of our communication style is we want to send huge blurbs, rather updates really, rather than a couple sentences here and there. So we would both text back like days later. That's what was going on. Anyway, eventually I just forgot to text back, and then I kept delaying it so I could like sit down and write down a good message, like a well thought out update for her. But the last time I messaged back was now probably 7 or 8 months ago. Something bad. So anyway, so I got the notification yesterday that it was her birthday. So I just texted her, "Oh, happy birthday." And I was looking for our conversation where we last left it, and I guess my phone deleted some of my messages because I could not find it. And then I checked like Instagram and I checked Messenger, but I could have sworn it was through text proper. And I just couldn't find it. So now I'm just outing myself as like a terrible friend here, but that's really what the update is. So now I have to think of, I guess I have to try to find our conversation a little bit longer, and then I have to think of a good response. So if you got any ideas, send them my way.
Well, so did she respond to your happy birthday text?
No, but I'm not reading into that. She lives in like Germany now, and she's also busy with things. I'm not sure because I haven't messaged back. But I know she's not in the U.S. anymore.
I think when she messages back, then you'll have a better idea of what to say.
Yeah,
probably. I'm sure she'll message back. Friends do. Best friends do.
Yeah, right. So yeah.
I appreciate you responding to me, Eddie. Have I ever said that to you?
No, but I appreciate you saying that. I'm really bad at knocking off notifications from my phone.
If I may, have you ever utilized the scheduled text?
I've not, no.
It's clutch, man. I love that thing. It helps so much with like remembering to text people back. Because you can just do it on your own time and like really think about the message. And when you send it, you could even go back and edit the text before it actually sends.
Okay.
It's awesome. If you haven't
used it yet, or
it's just a feature available on Google Messages. Yeah, suck it, iPhone people.
Oh yeah. Well, we can edit our responses or our messages if they're to another iMessage.
Yeah. Whatever. You're gonna hang your hat on that for a while, aren't you?
Nah, I'm not. I really don't care about the phone wars at all.
Okay. All right. So my corner. Thank you for your corner, by the way. That was fun. I liked it. Last time we talked about the pitfalls of modern dating, at least in my world. I don't really have an update other than I did see this person again, but she had to leave. But we had brief conversations, so I didn't really have that opportunity to ask her out. But if it happens again, then I will take advantage. But anyways, wanted to talk about in my corner was I had this fun little incident at HEB. I park and as I'm getting out of my car and walking to the entrance of HEB, there's a guy who stops me before I get too far away from my car. And he's like, "Hey man, come here. I need a hand." And I was like, "Okay, what can I help with?" And he's like, "Do you have anything that would be able to open a locked car, because I locked my keys into my car?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, maybe I could." So I go into the back of my car and I have like this ridiculous 16 multi-use axe that I never use until this glorious moment. So I was like, "Oh, I have this thing." So I go over to his car, and her girlfriend's like waiting. Huh?
Just kidding. Sorry, go on.
His girlfriend is waiting next to the car, and she didn't seem very happy. So I get the axe, and I kind of like put it in between the top of the driver's side car door, like at the top where the window at the top is. And then I kind of pry it open a little bit. But then I did it without thinking like, oh, wait, well, what are we going to use to open the car door with? And he didn't have anything. So I was like, all right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go inside HEB and buy something, like a wire or something. And I go in there. He goes in there too. And we had this funny moment where, no, not with me. It was weird. I go in, and then he goes in after me a little bit afterwards. And we pass each other during the HEB run. I'm looking for something to help him, and it was weird because we passed each other. And we didn't say anything. We walked by each other, and I gave him like the weird, awkward head nod, like, "Oh yeah, hey, I met you like literally 10 minutes ago." So I'm like, "All right, that was weird." So I couldn't find anything. I buy a fly swatter that had like a metal wire in it.
Wait, did you buy what you were there for in the first place?
No, not right now. I decided to handle this first. I bought the fly swatter. It was like $1.50. I go out there, and then his girlfriend's next to the car. I'm like, "Hey, is your boyfriend back yet?" He's like, "No, he went inside to help you." I'm like, "What?" We didn't go inside together. We didn't wait very long, but it was just funny how awkward it was because he comes out and he's like, "Oh, did you find something?" I'm like, "Yeah, we also ran into each other, bro." Do you remember that? Anyways, I take apart the fly swatter. I put the axe into the door, open it a little bit. He unwinds the fly swatter, gets the wire, sticks it in there, unlocks the door, open the door, the day is saved. And he's like, "Thank you, man. Thank you. You're a real one." We dap each other up. He's like, "Can I pay for that fly swatter?" I'm like, "No, dude, it's $1.50. He's like, "Come on, let me give you some money." I'm like, "No, just don't." He's like, "All right, man. Well, I've got some weed if you want some of that."
Let's go.
I'm like, "Dude, in another life, I would say yes, but thank you. I can tell you really appreciate the help. So that is enough." So they happily drive off and get really high together, and that's how I looked at it. And I was like, man, doesn't get much better than that.
You saved the relationship, Simone.
Good
job.
Yeah, that was fun. Anyways,
that's a far more interesting corner. Good job.
But yeah, that was my weekend, or that was last Thursday, I think. So anyways, that was my corner, and that'll be the pod. So good stuff today.
Great job.
I enjoyed it. This was also another test run for the video, so hopefully you'll see this posted on YouTube, and it'll be on Spotify and stuff. So if you like it, keep listening. Also, before we jump off, I've already heard people mention that they would like a mail segment. So we would love to do that if we got mail. So if you have questions for us, please send them our way, and we will include it in the next pod. But until then, goodbye. I don't have anything catchy to say. Do you?
No. Have a great week.
Have a great week, and see you next Tuesday.
Yep. That's the